What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with episode number 91 of the Infinity and Beyond podcast. Abe there in sunny California. How's it doing, Abe?
It's doing good. How about you? How's it doing in rainy UK?
Blue skies and sun. Spring is, almost kind of getting here. That's good. It's been another kind of a bit of an odd week. We have had a few little bits of news this week from Infinity, including no kind of official bits and pieces coming out or anything like that. So your network connection is experiencing difficulties. Connect your right. Okay, we are having a few slight technical issues, but it looks like it might be back in line again. We're good to go. You're right, Abe?
Yeah, we're good. You were sounding like Mr. Roboto for a second.
Yeah, Mr. Roboto.
Yeah. Mr. Roboto.
It's been, yeah. So yeah, there's been a bit of a thing of the minute where we've had a few little snippets of news on like Peter Pan and stuff, and but first off, the Alice news. We kind of got sent information come through from source stating the possible release dates for Alice for the Looking Glass figures, which are set to come out on May 24th. This was a screenshot that we were sent from a person at Games showing the 24th of May for Alice Madhouse. So what do you think of that, Abe?
That's great. I mean, it's a few days before the movie comes out, so you would think it'd come out close to the release date.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's out on the 27th, so it kind of makes sense to kind of get it out a few days before, kind of kick into doing that. The only thing that is kind of quite odd on this, I think this is very much kind of looking like an Alice playset. It definitely looks like we're not going to get that unless they're going to chuck in the Queen. It definitely looks like it's going to be some toy box only stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely toy box only characters. I don't expect anything more than that.
So it's and also again
I didn't hear a single thing you said. I think we're having difficulties.
Okay, right. I'll just go for that again. So we had the Alice. We've got the figures, but there's no actual power discs being listed on any of the retailers or anything like that.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it seems like it's just going to be figures for the toy box only. Of course, a lot of people who were thinking it would be a playset. Clearly, this is definitely a final indication that they're just toy box only characters. They do look cool though, so I'm excited for them. But like we've had discussions endless of times, toy box only characters, we're only going to be able to do so much with them unless there's content. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well. The only thing I thought with the maybe because we have had quite a lot of Alice for the Land powered in 1.0. We had the Sky Dome and we had the train. We've also had car. We've had discs already, but I still feel like it feels like a missed again, and a bit of a missed opportunity not to have a power disc pack to kind of tie in with a new look.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, there's been such a lack of new power discs and costume changes and whatnot. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we've been saying that phrase "missed opportunity" so many times already. So I don't know. I feel like this is their way of dishing out content now, which is new movie. Here's a figure or two. But that's unfortunately it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is, for me, is the power disc at least gave you some opportunity to have some toys, even if it's just some, people can create new toy boxes because, you get the plants that you can change to different things. It just feels a bit like, and I think the other thing as well, I don't know about you, but it feels like in the community, the Alice in Wonderland excitement for this doesn't feel very big. There's a lot of kind of, I think having 3 toy box only characters seems like one push too many. I know, when we've been talking about this on the Facebook group, a lot of kind of discussion about, they don't like the toy box only characters now, many of them, and also with there being 3 for one movie, this like it's gone from like having Baloo as one figure. Everyone was kind of like, okay, that's cool, but 3 figures seems like a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's a little overkill, I think. I mean, unless they release content with it, like maybe a new expansion game or something that'll involve, Alice in Wonderland, then 3 figures make sense. But 3 toy box only characters. I mean, maybe it'll make sense when people watch the movie, kind of like the 2 Zootopia figures. It's like they released it before the movie. They were like, "Oh, who wants those?" The Zootopia movie comes out. It's like, "Oh, these are great." So maybe they'll have that same connection to those 3 figures. But I still think additional content would be awesome because there's a big core of players that just have honestly not that much interest in the toy box, and just giving them a figure and the ability to play with them inside the toy box is unfortunately not enough, in my opinion.
It definitely feels like, I mean, obviously like Alice and kind of familiar with those characters, so they've already kind of established themselves. There is this whole kind of thing that goes on with like classic versus live action. I'm personally, I know there's some fans that only want the classic stuff. I don't really have the major problem with this because, they are Disney characters. The Mad Hatter was always a slightly difficult one because of the look, because the movie and the anime. Alice, to me, doesn't really look much different because it's just a humanoid girl. They look pretty similar. And obviously Time is a new character. But it's a bit of an odd one. It definitely there's been quite a few comments of people just saying that I'll wait for the sales because it's toy box only. There's not, and I think this is what this was kind of this kind of thing that fed off of last week's show where we were talking about how we and a lot of other players are not playing the game, the toy box, and there's been quite a few comments from last week's show where they were talking about how they've not been playing it the same because it's been out for a few years and these are going to bring them back into the toy box.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think you've said it many of our podcasts. It's like toy box is almost 4 years old now, and it's like it hasn't really evolved much, so of course people are going to get tired of it. I mean, I feel like the toy box is kind of like the same type of video game like Battlefront, in the sense that you need to keep giving it a few updates for people to keep coming back and playing it. And I just feel like we haven't really been getting that much investment in updating the toy box at all. So yeah, I don't see us coming back to it as much. I mean, I know there's toy box builders who love it, but just not a lot of other players. So
yeah, I think the other thing, my problem with like the Alice stuff is that you're essentially buying 3 figures at about $45-50, for them all. That's, you're into full blown video game territory at that price. If you go out and you buy the 3 figures, you're essentially buying a brand new video game for $45-50, and you're not only really getting any video game content to play anything new with. And I think that's the issue. Where when you get you get the Captain, you get the first Avenger, you get some power discs, or even an expansion game, it does feel like with this expansion of going over into the 3rd year or into the 2nd year, it does change the game a little bit because everything's a little bit more spread out. And I feel like they needed some downloads for some new toys. Maybe even just put some new toys in the toy box if they're not going to do the power. If they want to go down these longer stretches, they're going to have to, like you say, give us a little bit more updates, give us some more toys, give us some new, like, and something different, even some new guidance, some kind of stuff like this. Get, like you say, like a regular monthly patch with to get you back into that toy box if you're going to be doing continuously for a few years, because this is almost like they've been so focused before on launching the game has every few videos. They haven't. $45, $50 for all those figures with no new game content is not as easy for people to keep swallowing. Marvel Battlegrounds was different because you had the play set. It's interesting. There's definitely been there definitely feels like there's a little bit of not as much excitement over these figures. There's just something that hasn't. I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's just people wanted a play set. There was that Alice in Wonderland video game on the Wii and stuff a few years ago. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know what to think about them. I mean, I'm excited for them. Don't get me wrong, and I know new figures are kind of like new updated content that'll bring us back to play, but it's not enough. It's temporary. I mean, you play it to find out certain moves, but beating up the same old enemy from time to time is eventually going to get old. You know what I mean? So, no, I agree. I feel people were anticipating it to be a playset. People were anticipating to have maybe more content via, I don't know, like you said, maybe Power Discs, or even if they were like the Tomorrowland Power Discs where they unlock new toys. It's just unfortunate that it didn't happen that way. As far as the figures go, I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm excited for them. Alice was a no-brainer. Mad Hatter obviously makes more sense to do the modern version. Time was a surprise. He was the biggest surprise. But not only was he a surprise because I didn't expect him to be a figure, but again, like you said, the third toy box only figure. So I don't know. Yeah. I guess my answer is I guess I'll see when they're here. That's how I feel about them.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like I said, a bit of an I'm hoping, to be honest, that I'm wondering it's like that Finding Dory playset. I'm thinking there's going to be a few weeks after it because that hasn't been starting to come out onto the information. We still don't know what other figures are going to come with that playset or anything like that. There's still kind of a big sort of thing going on there. Marks a question as well. Again, we haven't heard anything officially about Alice in Wonderland. We've seen the patches, we've seen it on retailers, we've seen images and stuff. We still haven't seen the full-blown figures, and there's still been no official confirmation that they're coming, anything other than a little quote on Next. It's that kind of thing of like we're kind of wondering when we're officially going to be hearing this stuff. Is it just going to drop in one day, or are they going to do the same thing as well? Wait till the week before?
You know what? I honestly wish even if they wait until the week before to do it, that's fine. But I wish they told us when the next is, because then that way we can have that feeling of anticipation. I mean, we don't even get that feeling anymore like we used to with Infinity. Like they used to tell us like, oh, something great's coming, and they give us a little hint, and it would be from time, it'll be some time before we find out what it was. But it's been nothing but silence now, and it's kind of like almost like I feel like Infinity is being an afterthought now because to be honest with you, I've been playing so many other games. I think on one of our previous podcasts, we've been talking about it's been in Disney Infinity and Beyond. It's been a lot more Beyond lately because that's all I've been playing is pure Beyond stuff. Battlefront, I've been completely invested in it. Disney Magic Kingdoms, I started playing the Kingdom Hearts one. I started playing even the what is it called, the
Crossy Road.
Thank you. You see, you telepathic right there. But anyways, like I feel like the silence is eerie. I see a bunch of my figures before me, but yet they just sit there on the shelf now. It's kind of like the sad Toy Story 2 where the squeaker, he's up there. It's like, dude, give me something. Give me something to get me excited for it. I mean, like I love Baloo, but I played with him so much already. It's just like I need content. So
yeah, my mum is addicted to Crossy Road. She's swearing at me now because I told her about it, and then she's been playing and she's getting frustrated playing. But it's this kind of thing I think as well. Like we've seen, we've been playing lots of the game. I've been playing. I played Kingdom Hearts, the original game, over the weekend on the PlayStation 2. Looks it's kind of weird. Go back to a PlayStation 2. It's like my eyes.
Yeah, it's like
it's this kind of thing of it was like, oh my god. It's like so some of it looked good, but it's like, yeah, okay. It's like so I've been enjoying that, and that's planned to play a lot more of that this coming week. And also, I was playing Marvel Heroes last night, and that's been a lot of fun. So and I did a couple hours doing Unchained Key and Crossy Road the other day as well, while I was at my mother-in-law's. Like you say, there's a lot else going on. I know people have been playing the new Ratchet and Clank game, because that kind of slides into being a decent price point for like a family game. This lack of kind of a little bit of announcements, I do think, I know there's this theory from us that, if they get all the leaks out and all the rest of it, it gives the hardcore fans, gets them excited, and then they release a little bit of information a bit later to everybody else. But it does feel like not saying things, just putting out those images a month ago, just to kind of they're coming, and you'll see some gameplay stuff a bit, and do the before just. I don't know, maybe they're just trying out a new strategy to see how it works and stuff, of seeing what's going on. Because maybe they're thinking the hardcore fans know that Alice and all these free figures are coming. They don't need to sort of do anything about that until a bit nearer to kind of drum everybody up. I am really excited about this Finding Dory playset. That is the thing that's kind of keeping me going at the minute. And to know that we still got 2 more playsets. But I think there's that feeling of knowing we've not got 4.0 this year. I've still got 3 more playsets. We've just got another 2.0 coming up this year. That is how I am looking at this. Another mid-year. It's just a midpoint year.
I kind of miss. Actually, let me go back a few seconds here. If that saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. What happened to the Game Informer update? That was awesome. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We knew something was coming, and they gave us a big chunk of stuff. Like I would love it if they did something similar to that, but it's the silence is it's bothering me a bit. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I love the game, I love everything to do with it, love the figures. It's just it's been a quiet year this year, and
I think it is going to be a quiet year.
Well, I mean, especially I'm already trying to figure out, because usually Infinity is a big chunk of my E3 visit, or even my Comic-Con visit. It's going to be completely different this year.
That's right. I can feel you. We got loads of places we can send you there. It's definitely.
I already know where to go. Yeah, I'm just saying it used to be a big chunk, but now it's something else.
Yeah, it's I mean, I still think that having the longer system makes a lot of sense, and I think it's the best thing for the game. I do think having a 2 or 3 year cycle for each game is perfect. I do think it's good, but we're in that first year of them trying it, so there's going to be a few little issues along the way. I do think on the Disney Infinity Next, they need to be like, right, okay, there's a Moana playset coming, and there's a Star Wars Rogue One playset coming. There we go. That's just literally be. Don't give the kind of be like, that's coming. Everyone just kick back, relax. That's going to be coming then. It's going to be coming in December. This was like they did with Force Awakens. They said that right back in May. Marvel Battlegrounds. They said that way back in last May. Just literally just say there is a Star Wars Rogue One or a Star Wars Rebels playset coming in September, and leave it at that. Don't give us any pictures. Don't they can. There's this thing of it needs to be more than Disney Infinity next week, because that's not building excitement. Because if this next Disney Infinity does the same thing as they did the last one did, I think the whole brand is lost on the hardcore fans for new fans and casual fans. That will work, but it's not going to have it will not boost that same thing again. It's just a bit of an odd one. I just wish they if there's going to be some new figures, if there's going to be an Elliot figure or something like that coming out, maybe just say it. Maybe or show a picture of it. Try and get a little bit more ahead if they want to about what's coming. Because right now, officially, we know that very, 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 very little. Literally a snippet. We know there's 3 playsets coming. That is all we know officially. And there's one Star Wars and 1 Disney animation and 1 Pixar, because that one hasn't even been officially announced yet.
I mean, it can't be an Elliot figure because they didn't give us an Arlo figure, so it would make no sense. But yeah, he'd be huge too. Anyway, sorry, I went off on what you just said. No, you're right. It's definitely, it would be nice if they just told us what was coming in general. Don't tell us everything. You can give us some surprises, but tell us what the playsets are going to be. don't let a box of macaroni and cheese tell us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely that kind of funny thing, I think, of just giving. There's that very fine line between giving a little bit and giving us a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if they don't, whatever's going on at the minute, the feeling from the audience is obviously the very hardcore Disney Infinity fans that, you know, that's all they want, and they will, and they are still very, very vocal. But it feels like the win is just because this is the second thing. Usually at this point, everyone's getting drummed up for the next thing, and they're not being told about it. There is more content coming. There is essentially a 3.5 coming this year. There is a whole load of playsets coming, a load of figures, new playsets, etc. But we don't know a lot. And this time last year, we knew nothing. We didn't even know about 3.0 at this point. So it's
just to give them a little bit of credit, though. And the first next, they did say, "Stay tuned for the next or whatever." So you can learn about Disney's favorite fish and a look through the Looking Glass. And those are the only ones that we know about that are coming. You know what I mean? Even though we don't know all the details, we know those are the ones that are coming. So we could give them a little bit of credit for that. But that's as much as we can.
I think that was the thing, Keith. That was the best thing with Next 4 playsets coming in 2016, one Marvel, one Star Wars. That was exactly what they needed to do, and I fully agree. You know, they didn't have to tell us exactly what it was, but you know, this is the thing. If you know, we are in a 2.0 life cycle year for this year. This is how I feel like it, and those playsets. You know, like I said, we need more content, and maybe what they learn will happens this year. They might introduce for maybe 2018 might be and they'll learn and put into practice for 2018 or 2020 when they do these years again. If they go every 2 years, you know, this is the thing. It's all learning. It's all changing around and moving some bits and pieces around. But yeah, I think they've got to. If they're going to go into this longer lifestyle, they need to give us some more toys and some. You know, I think expansion games, and I keep going back to this. I think the expansion games are the one key thing of Disney Infinity that I do not. I think that the focus on play sets is great, but those expansion games are the key to keeping people into the game and with all these toy box characters. Though that is the key to getting these toy box characters becoming more and more desirable, because what's the first thing now I do after I play around a little bit in the toy box? Speedway and Takeover with the new characters. That's the first thing I go and do with them.
I was gonna say I'm hoping that we get two things out of this, you know, change that they're doing. I would really appreciate longer play sets, some that last more than the supposed 4 to 6 hour gameplay, or a play set that keeps us invested. And a big example would have been if we would have had something like Battlegrounds, but with online connectivity. That would have given us tons of hours of gameplay. But I would really hope for that. But yeah, but expansion games are their excuse for crossing stories. If we get expansion games too, then fine. But I would appreciate longer play sets. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I think from my point of view, the thing of the expansion games is that at least it ties into having content. You know, and also if they throw us 2 expansion games or 4 expansion games, they can't be as difficult to produce, but it's just that kind of thing of that is content that lasts a bit longer and has a little bit more because that's the online play, you know. And it's this kind of odd thing. I think I've been sort of, you know, for me, I've been sort of battling on about the expansion games. I think ever since 2.0 came out, because I think the 6 expansion games have been some of the strongest content they've made because of that evergreen content of being able to bring everybody in and online play. Yeah, the strongest thing, but they all seem to get kind of forgotten, and because everyone's play set focused.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's that would be really helpful as far as getting you know, good a balance of gameplay as far as you know, your toy box builders and your playset players. So
yeah, it's definitely kind of a cool thing. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to shift to Apple. which has been kind of the sort of the big figure the rumor that's been going on. There was an update to the app this last week, which kind of came again out of nowhere. Disney are basically a load of different apps have teamed up with the WWF. They've all decided to get into the ring and take out the evil Vince McMahon. Yes, the Worldwide Wildlife. See, because I'm a kid of the 80s, the WWF, I'll be honest, the minute I see that, I always think of wrestling. Family still call it the WWF, even though it's WWE. But obviously, I couldn't get any much more of a longer title in there because they've teamed up with Disney Infinity, Zoom Zoom, Galaxy of Hero, Contest of Champions. So as far as the Disney Infinity stuff goes, Baloo and the Zootopia characters are now in the game. They've now been added to it. They're also offering a special WWF pack for the iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, consisting of Nick, Judy, the Blue figure, the Tantor Elephant Power Disc, and 2 Lion King themed Power Discs for $4.99, which is available from last week to April the 24th for $4.99. Now, I think $4.99 for free online figures and free Power Discs actually is a pretty good deal. You know, that's a really good sort of deal if you're a toy box person hasn't brought the figures. Obviously, your characters can kick in, but it definitely seems to be a good little thing. Now, I mean, they've also teamed up with, like I said, you know, Contest of Champions and a host of different apps to kind of raise money for charity, because that all I think it's a great little thing, and it's a little boost for the app at this time of the year, kind of thing. Well,
I'm trying to concentrate on what you're talking about, but you know, there's a huge, huge dating in the UK ad right next to the article. And I'm like, that chick is like so drunk. I'm like, seriously, that's what dating in the UK is like? Okay, sorry, off on a tangent.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice that you know, Disney Infinity still does certain things that are kind of like, first of all, they do stuff for the fans, they do little events, and then they also do little charitable things. That's the Disney way, and the fact that they're tying in some, you know, related to Infinity content with it, not to mention giving Apple fans who have been kind of dissed a little bit of extra stuff would be, you know, that's kind of nice. So it kind of helps out both those who have the app and also obviously the foundation, the World Wildlife Fund, or the World Wrestling Federation, whichever one they're really. But no, it's cool. I'm glad that they're playable, and they're awesome characters either way. I love them, especially Baloo. Baloo's phenomenal. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah, for charity, great stuff. Kind of wish that they'd I mean, you know, this, like I said, that update should have been about a month ago.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Know, and if they to do that pack is great. If they were holding off for it for the WWF, well, that's great for the WWF, but for people that had brought the figures a month ago, that wasn't really that didn't really know anything, not great. Definitely just odd. It's again, you know, like the Marvel stuff, the whole thing with the Apple, you know, they're all they and all the rest of it. It's just odd little thing, you know. They've just done this massive push for that for all their apps and not include. It's just a bit odd.
Yeah, it's been quite a mess, but hopefully there are more funds out there, so these places can keep getting more figure updates.
Yeah. And also a little bit on Peter Pan. Last bit, just a little bit of kind of things of kind of quite funny, I think, because last week people were sort of saying about Peter Pan. He was obviously announced at the Toy Box Summit that he's going to be coming as a character, which always was that kind of indication that DOC was always going to be a major part of the game, because they knew right back then that that's how that was going to work.
No, yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to talk about Peter Pan? First off, shout out to Ty Martin, one of our listeners. He gave me the heads up on this. But JV put out a tweet. Somebody asked him if we would be hearing about Peter Pan in the next presentation, and JV did say yes. So we will definitely be hearing more about him. Hopefully, they'll be revealing his figure that the Toy Box builders at the last Toy Box Summit. It was the artist choice figure, so I'm kind of excited to see him finally. You know, it's been almost a year since we found out we were getting him, so it'd be kind of cool to finally get updates on him.
It's kind of funny because, to be honest, I kind of assumed that Peter Pan would have been shown off in the next anyway, because they said it was going to be a June release, and the next one will cover June. Didn't really even. I never even really gave it any thought that would be any. But no, it's. I think it really comes when it goes out the 24th, the 25th. This or the Alice ones.
Yeah, the 24th, I believe.
Yeah, so probably about the 23rd we'll have next. It'll be so yeah, it's definitely kind of going to be it's going to be interesting, I think, with Peter Pan. I don't mind, like, this is the thing with Toy Box characters. I don't mind that. I don't mind the random one figures like Baloo's stuff being Toy Box characters. I think people have the issue with the 3-4 figures of a series being playset characters or Toy Box characters only. Because I always feel like Star Wars Rebels characters kind of got away with it. They snuck under the radar because while they didn't have a playset, because they could go into all the free Star Wars playsets, they kind of got through on this was the same thing what we're saying. They had content which just meant that people got panicked about it the same way.
I mean, this is why people are asking for that one playset that promotes crossing platform. I mean, crossing content for the Disney side. I mean, because look at it this way. I mean, Marvel, any playset that Marvel puts out now, specifically, Battlegrounds, everybody can play it from the Marvel side, including new figures or the old. Star Wars, like you said, the Rebels can cross over everywhere, and all the other Star Wars can cross over to the other. So it would be kind of cool if we had some type of playset where it was kind of an original story. I mean, let's call it an expansion game, just to play, just to differentiate. But an expansion game with the length of a playset or longer, I would prefer. That'll allow you to do that, and then of course people won't complain about 3 different Toy Box only characters from somewhere else because they can play it somewhere else. You know what I mean? The more avenues you give me to be able to use a Toy Box only character, figure, or whatever, the happier I'll be. The happier a lot of people will be. So yeah, I agree with you there.
I'm just going to throw out a very, very quick theory. Right, we got this Finding Dory playset, which we know has got Dory. What if? And there's not really been any reports of what else is coming for it. What if it is just an expansion game rebranded as a playset? And they don't do anything about anything else.
Because it makes no sense. It's a playset.
that look kind of like.
And what? Stop confusing us. Stop it.
But it's an interesting thing of, I think, it's going to be, I think we're right at that point where, we're in a different era. We're in a different era for Infinity, and we need to, and things have changed. Things are not going the way we always thought it was. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I still don't think the way that's going on with it's a great idea. I think it's great. But it's the same thing as well of they need to really go, and I don't know whether or not, I don't know if Disney are holding off a little bit. The only thing I could think of was waiting to see what happens after, like, Lego Dimensions and Skylanders put their, like, this year's content out there. Maybe they're just waiting for kind of they need that kind of punch back, because if they get that first punch in, because they usually get out first to kind of with Lego Dimensions. We don't know what's going on with Skylanders. No one's is.
Yeah, it's definitely a mystery. Lego Dimensions, that's going to be interesting as far as how it's going to work, because obviously this will definitely be the first game that won't dish out a new expansion pack or whatever, or a starter pack, if you will. Skylanders, I'm not really worried about. Last one tanked. I don't expect this new one to be any better. I don't see Skylanders surviving much. Um, but
I think they
what?
on the Skylanders front, either not they do dual movies or sorry, dual games kind of sliding off of back of it. This one was probably in production way before they knew Skylanders was going after the releasing. They've got a new TV series and stuff coming out. I almost feel like I don't know whether or not next year's Skylanders might be the better thing because they've kind of rejigged it around a bit with the new TV series. But yeah, they're going to have to do something major to kind of reinvigorate the Skylanders franchise, and I think the TV show might be the way to do it. But you know, I'm not going to necessarily say count them out yet. But the thing is the same thing with the Lego. If Lego Dimensions just keep going with these little expansions, the and Eva, so them go down this little dribby drab and stuff, it will seem quite a major different year to last year where we had 3 completely different games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on how they come out. This was the point I was trying to make across is like it's just depending on how their content performs. You know, like I said, Skylanders didn't do so well, so it's like right now, the new one could be somewhat of an afterthought. The new Lego, you know, we don't know how it's going to perform as far as without a new starter pack, so it's going to be different. But yeah, you know, it's again, this is the first time that Infinity is not doing a new starter pack, so it's definitely a new test to see what direction this game is going, whether if it's going in a new direction or if it's ever going to go in another direction, who knows. But all we know is let's just hope that these new playsets are awesome enough to keep a lot of people interested. You know, that's going to keep the game alive. So yeah.
I think that's pretty much going to wrap up to this week's news. So just a big thank you to everyone over all of our patrons over at patreon.com/DisKingdom, where they get access to early episodes of the DisKingdom podcast a little bit early and just help support the show and kind of give us a chance to kind of upgrade and do bits and pieces. I've got a few bits and pieces going on to try and help with new stuff. I'm also a big thank you to Ethan over at sortapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being again a sponsor. And I also got to speak to him last week as well. And there'll be an episode of the DisKingdom podcast going up tomorrow with a whole host of bits and pieces about stuff at World Disney World. So big thank you to Ethan for doing it. And in normal housekeeping, you can kind of catch us on Twitter, Facebook, and you can also not just about Disney Infinity, but about all kinds of Disney and Star Wars and Marvel games. And yeah, it's kind of definitely going at the minute. There's a lot of discussion about the different mobile games and things. Everyone's kind of playing different bits and pieces all over the place, which is great. It's kind of great to see the kind of gamers getting together and discussing stuff. And as per usual, always comment below with your thoughts, and we will, feedback from you guys. Anything else you want to add on today? Close off the day.
No, I hope there's a new information, a leak or something, because I need something more to talk about.
Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about a 15-year-old video game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Be sure hit that subscribe button, and we shall see you guys in a later video. Later. See?